Hey everybody, so today I'm going to explain to you how to maximize your personal injury settlement by writing the best type of settlement demand package that will make the insurance adjusters want to pay you the most money that they have. My name is Jordan Jukes with the Jukes Firm. We help people maximize their injury settlements. So what I want to do is take you through a settlement demand package and what the insurance companies are looking for in those settlement demand packages to pay you the most for your injury claim. The first thing you want to do is set the stage and explain what laws you're relying on and why you're sending the settlement demand package. We call this just the general introduction or explaining who you are and what happened in the case. One of the most important things you can include in the settlement demand package is a background statement of who you are. I like to include pictures, family photos, photos of who you are, usually before the injury, so that the insurance company or the adjuster for the insurance company has in their mind a picture of who you are. Tell them about what you like to do, your hobbies, your job, whether you have a family, kids, married, those types of things. It humanizes you to the insurance adjuster. The next important thing that the insurance adjuster wants is a description from your perspective of what happened in the wreck. If you were hit from behind, tell the story about how the other car hit you from behind and what they said at the scene. This is a good time to include photographs of the damage to the vehicles at the scene, as well as a copy of the police report. And if the other driver was cited, make sure you include in your demand package that the police officer found the other side, the other driver, at fault for causing the wreck. This is what we call the liability section. It's a really important part because it shows that you weren't at fault, but the other driver was at fault. Give plenty of detail in that portion. The next portion that I want to talk about is called the injury and treatment portion. And this is going to be a significant portion of your settlement demand package. This is where you talk about from A to Z, all the medical doctors you've seen, the injuries that you've sustained, and what the doctors have said about you, your diagnoses, your prognosis. So you need to be able to get all the medical records and go through them and summarize that for the insurance adjuster what's happened. You want to be able to talk about going to the ER, if you've seen a chiropractor, if you've had MRIs, x-rays, if you've seen an orthopedist or some type of specialist. You want to include all of that in there. Now here's a special hint. An important thing of this is include photos where possible. Photos of your neck or bruising. And really important, x-ray imaging, MRI imaging, anything you can, again, to tell the adjuster about the story of what you've been through, about how this injury has affected you and how the doctors have described the injury to the adjusters. In essence, you want to summarize the medical records for the insurance adjuster to make her job easier. All right, now after you've given a good summary of the medical treatment, there's something important that we definitely recommend that you include, and that is the ICD-9 codes. You may be asking, what is that? Well, that's the codes that the medical providers put in that dictate what's gone on in your case. And so look that up, ICD-9 codes. You want to list those in your demand so that the insurance adjuster can go through and plug those codes into her computer. For each of those codes, typically, the insurance company will assign a monetary value for your case. So a good way to maximize your claim is to include the ICD-9 billing codes from your provider into your demand itself. So the next thing you want to do is actually include the billing statements for each of your providers within the demand, and you want to total those out. Now this is very, very important. Include the total amount of the bills, not just what the insurance company paid or what the leftover amount of those bills are. In Georgia and in a lot of other states, the insurance company from the other driver has to pay you the full amount of the medical bills, not just whatever's left over after the insurance company is paid. So the billing, the full billing is the next part that I would definitely include in your settlement demand. Another thing that you can include in your settlement demand is incidental costs, such as parking fees, mileage, wear and tear on vehicles, those types of things. And you can, again, list those out within your demand in a graph or a table. So it's very easy for the insurance adjuster to go through and calculate and tabulate the total amount of those bills. And make it very easy on the insurance adjuster so she sees exactly what dates it happened, the amount of miles that you went back and forth to your provider, and total those together. Typically, we go off the IRS rates that are given for mileage. So for example, I think it's 58 cents per mile is what the IRS allows you to deduct. So that's what usually the insurance company will award you per mile that you drive as a result of the accident that you've been in. So one of the next sections that you want to talk about in your settlement demand package is what I call the pain and suffering section. And this is really, really important. The pain and suffering section, it's different than the medical chronology section because the pain and suffering section will really detail how this injury has affected your life, your spouse's life, your children, and everyone else in contact with you. You want to go through really painful detail of how it's affected you. We recommend that our clients keep a pain journal to document how the pain has affected them daily, from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to bed. And so you want to really detail to the insurance adjuster all the ways that this has affected you. When you bend over to tie your shoes, when you get to take a bath, difficulty you may have cooking or going to work. This is where you describe how it's affected your life. And if you look up the specific laws in your state, and here in Georgia, it allows us to claim past injuries and pain and suffering as well as future pain and suffering. So you want to detail what the law says and craft your demand specific to the applicable law in your state. This is a really important and can be very powerful way to really increase the value of your demand. If you can tell your story in very believable and humane and credible ways, the insurance adjuster is going to add a lot of value to your settlement offer. So here's another section that is going to be important if you're married, and that's called the addressing loss of consortium. That's what we call it in Georgia. But really, that's the effect that the injury had on the marital spouse or your partner in marriage. So if you're married, you can claim loss of consortium. And the way we do this in a demand is simply say that you were married, your husband has a claim because now your husband or your wife has to do things that they couldn't do or they didn't have to do previously because of because of the injuries you sustained. So you want to give a paragraph or two detailing the inconvenience that your marital partner has experienced because of the wreck and how it's affected things like your daily life, intimacy, chores that need to be done. And that's an important part as well, especially in Georgia, that the insurance company has to, again, compensate you for your injury. Another really important part of the settlement demand needs to be lost wages if you've lost time at work or money at work because of your injuries. The law allows you to claim if any amount of money that you lost, even if that money was paid because of PTO or through disability coverage, right? So a good way to document this is to go to your HR representative or your supervisor at work and have them fill out a form that details all the time you missed and then the pay that you missed because of your missed time. You can get pay stubs, you can get tax returns if you need to. Documentation of this can be a little tricky, so if you have some questions about it, make sure you reach out so we can kind of help you understand how to properly document your lost wages. But lost wages are an incredibly important part and often forgotten part for many people trying to settle a demand with the insurance company. So at this point, I think the best thing to do next is to list out or to itemize all the separate sections you've had with a monetary value. So the medical bills, the pain and suffering, the lost wages, the mileage and parking rates, the loss of consortium, everything that you've been through, you want to give a monetary value for each of those and then give a total amount of the amount that you're going to demand from the insurance company. And generally speaking, that is going to be a very high value. And you want to keep in mind whatever the insurance limits are that are available to you through the other driver's insurance has to be relevant here. It doesn't do a whole lot of good to demand an amount that's far in excess of whatever coverage is available from the other insurance company. But you always want to express the true value of your claim, even if it's above the actual coverage that you're available. For example, in Georgia, the minimum amount of coverage is $25,000. That's what the other driver has to give you in order to be legal. But in your demand package, most demands are going to have an amount that's beyond the $25,000 of the total value of the claim. Not necessarily that that's what you're demanding, but the total value of the pain and suffering, the medical bills, the lost wages, all those things should probably be in excess of the amount that you're attempting to recover from the insurance company. So kind of the final section that you want to include in your demand is the final demand amount. And that needs to usually be an amount equal to the coverage available or something less than it. And you want to be able to be very specific with your terms. And you need to probably talk to an attorney if you're not sure about what those terms should be, because they're very specific to each state. But in Georgia, generally, you need to give 30 to 40 days for the insurance company to respond. And you need to have a lot of documentation to support your demand. I mean, our demand packages usually include the written letter, which is 10 to 15 pages, all of the medical bills, all of the medical records, all the photographs, and everything else included. And at the very end of that demand, we say, hey, we are demanding, $25,000 or $100,000 or $1 million or whatever that amount is, because of all this evidence that we've gathered and are now showing you. And so that final part of the demand kind of is the summation of what you say you want and why you say you want it, and you include specific terms for the insurance company. One of the terms we like to include is, once you accept our demand, we need to have payment within 10 days. That's an example. It's important to be clear on this part of the demand because the law allows you to hold the insurance company's feet to the fire if they fail to meet reasonable terms. So again, it's always good to talk to an attorney about what are some of the best terms to include in this portion of the demand, because you can really be specific and kind of set some traps for the insurance company. So finally, if you stuck around for this long, feel free to reach out to us. We want to help you be able to craft the best demand possible so that you can maximize the value of your claim and really get a fair recovery from the insurance company. If you reach out to us, we will actually be more than happy to send you a template of a demand we like to use and to help you get started in that process. You can reach us at the Jewkes Firm, JEWKES, FIRM.com, or reach out to us at 770-771-5130. Thanks so much.